Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another Scale Riders podcast episode number 224. I'm on the road, as if you can hear in the background. We're on the freeway here, 134 freeway, in Southern California. It's the morning time. It's like 8 a.m. It's nice and sunny. Weather's been great. It's not so hot anymore. It's been really cool. Like in the mornings, it's like between 60, 70. You know, not too bad. It's pretty dope. But I'm on my way. I gotta go pick up some product that's arriving today, and later you guys will see that up on the site. There's a lot. It's gonna be a mix of like new items that have never been on the site before. Some Fujimi kits, also some of the new Aoshima releases, Aoshima wheels, wire wheels that they just came out with as well. And also some tools too. So some disk space stuff will be in, and a bunch of other like restocks from Hasegawa as well. So it's like a nice mixture of brands that are going to be coming in today. So I'm very excited. I mean, it's been a minute since I've gotten a big mixture like this of like different things. So I'm like super hyped to get this up and have it available. I'm going to be sorting through all the stuff, and I'm going to be making like two different piles. One of them is going to be for the site, and the other one's going to be for the mystery boxes. So some of this new stuff that I'm getting in, I'm going to also put some of those items in the mystery boxes as well. So this way, people get some surprises, and they start getting in some of the newer releases also in there as well. So, the mystery boxes, I think it's been like 2 weeks now since they were announced and made available. And man, I mean, I'm so happy and appreciative of the support that I've been getting from everybody that's picking one up. And I did get some messages regarding like would I ever do like a bigger tier box. And at first I was thinking, the 150, that's probably the biggest one I could do right now. But I started sorting through my boxes and doing like pre-packing, and I pulled out the biggest box I have, and I started to see what's the next step I could take it from the 150. So I did create a 200 tier that I just placed on the website that's available with like 4 kits, 4 sets of wheels, and then I'm also going to give you, paint, tools, and photo etch parts, or like detail parts, not just photo etch. It's going to be like a mix of like different detail parts that are going to be going in there. So that is available right there. If I'm going to go anything bigger, not anytime soon. If anything, I'd have to buy a bigger box to see, what I could cram in there to make everything fit, because, when it's a mystery box, you just want the presentation to be good, where you open and everything's in there, and not like, there's 2 separate packages going out. So I think it's better when everything's all in one. But that's currently where it's at right now with the, it's pretty much like a $50 difference between each box right there. And in the description on the photo, you'll be able to see what's included as far as like, the quantity and what's in there in the box. The only thing obviously you won't know is the brands and the which specific kits or tools you're going to be getting. But if you're familiar with my website, it's going to be a lot of what you see on my website. So a lot of the things that I carry on the site right there. But as like, the weeks have been going on, it's been cool. I've been learning a lot of things, even just getting the hang of like the packing, getting that momentum, selecting the kits, getting all the detail parts and the paints and everything, it's been cool. And then on top of that, just seeing the response on it, the videos, the pictures from customers like posting, just showing love and spreading word, and just the messages I get from them, telling me that they're happy with their box, it's a great idea and this and that. And like, it's cool. Like, that makes me happy right there. I'm like, oh man, like that's cool. Because it's when you're putting one of these things together, in the beginning, man, I felt the pressure. I was like, all right, I made this available, but I gotta deliver. I gotta make sure everything's cool, and then as my appreciation for the support, I wanted to include a bonus item without announcing it. I started putting in a diecast car from Mini GT, Kaido House. They did their collab, and these cars, these diecasts, they retail for about like $25. And I have different liveries on them, and I have them available. And I was like, you know what? Like, I know most customers are model builders. There's some that collect diecasts, but not a lot. But why not give a gift of a diecast? One of these premium ones that they could definitely, keep on their bench, or just, even if they keep it in the box, but still, like, they get to open it and they get to see what it's about, And who knows, that could be an introduction to them to the latest, like, diecasts that have been coming out in these last, like, few years. Because, man, I'll tell you, like, as much as, I love model building, I also love these new premium diecasts that are coming out. They keep coming out with new stuff all the time, and I even see the bigger diecast stuff, but I'm like, nah, I don't got room for that, But it's like anything. We just love cars, We love cars, especially when there's a particular model or make that you really, really like. Then you tend to kind of collect everything of that. Next thing you know, like years from now, you're like, man, I got like a little mini museum in my room. So there's a lot of cool things coming out and available, But as far as like these mystery boxes, man, it's been fun, like putting them together. And later, I'm gonna make more things available. I'm gonna make some bundles. I've been thinking about doing bundles of items, pairing up kits with, let's just say like Aoshima cutting mat and a couple kits together, like as a bundle, or even like a tools bundle as well. Getting the latest, hobby knives and, tweezers and just various types of tools, because there's a lot of stuff that's out. And I know there's going to be certain things that I'm going to be getting from these companies that I'm probably going to just keep exclusive for these bundles, to sell it in the bundle form, because there is a lot of new stuff coming out. And so some of my the reps where I buy stuff from, they keep letting me know, hey, we're going to be gaining another brand, or we're going to be now offering this other brand, so keep an eye out for the announcement. So it's crazy, like, now how things have evolved and changed, where we have a lot more access now to tools, to materials and things. You could tell that the Japanese market is like going all in to spread their products outside of Japan into the US and into other foreign countries too, which is dope. I mean, if you're a manufacturer and you're creating a product and you realize, it makes a lot of noise in your country, then you're ready to take that next step and let people try that out outside of your country, As effective as it is that modelers are using these tools, these materials, and they're excelling and they're taking it to that next level, everybody is paying attention. Everyone is like, we're all glued to our phones. We're all like just paying attention to like, what's the newest thing, who's doing what. And when you see the outcome of it, you get inspired and you're like, man, I want to try that. Like, you start researching. That triggers researching right there. You start researching, you start asking questions, you start investigating. You find out, where can I find this stuff? Who sells it? Who has it? Once you obtain it, then it's up to you to like initiate, try it out, And, you still go back, you look up those videos, you look up who was using what to see how they did it. Okay, now I got the stuff. Let me try it out. Let me get my feet wet. And you go from there, And even if you don't get those results right off the bat, you know that if you just keep trying, you're going to end up getting it, because you already saw the end result right there. And next thing you know, it's like, out of nowhere, it starts to happen. And you're like, what the hell? Like, this is crazy, And I feel like that's when people start to, that confidence boost just hits. But then they also start recommending things to other people. Like, yo, you need to, like this tool here, or this material, or this paint, all that stuff starts to take effect right there immediately, when people start spreading the word on that. But it's all trial and error and just trying stuff out. And we keep seeing companies coming out with new products and stuff, and you think to yourself, well, man, like how many hobby knives are there out there? Like, I already have one. Do I really need another one? But you don't know that until you try it out, And it could be like the blade is different. It's a smaller blade than the number 11 than what we're normally used to. It could be a designer knife. It could be a swivel knife. It could be a lot of different things that this knife can do. Also the grip, the handle, Is it plastic? Is it aluminum? Like, what is it? There's different things. Even like a while back, I remember Snacks did a video where he was showcasing these hobby knives where the blade and the handle, it's like magnetic, where you could just pull the blade off and then pop it back in. It's interesting, and it's one of those things where I don't know of it until I try it out. And that's the thing. A lot of the times we see things and they might seem a bit like foreign, or we're like, well, like, I don't think I need that. But it's not until you try it out, you're like, whoa, like, this is a huge, huge difference. And then that's when you're like, all right, I think it's time to upgrade, I think it's time to get the latest thing or the newest thing and try it out right there. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff that's been dropping. The same with the model kits. I feel like now, if the mystery boxes are going out more, consistent and stuff, I'll be able to bring in a lot more different things to mix in with the mystery boxes, because I really like to put like different brands in the boxes. So this way, like, let's just say, for example, like, you want a model build and you get one of the boxes. Well, now, you're gonna have, let's just say as an example, an Aoshima kit, a Fujimi kit, Hasegawa kit paired up, and you're like, wow, all right, cool. You start to see the differences between the three kits. It could be a Tamiya kit with, also Hasegawa and like Nunu Plots, Nunu Hobby, and then you notice the detail, like, right, like all the differences and stuff. So it's all these like different things that it's like, it's an introduction, but it's also like a mystery. You don't know what you're gonna get. That anticipation of like, all right, man, like, I paid $100, or I paid $50, or I paid $150 for this box. Let's see what I get. And it's just a surprise. Like, you get that email with the tracking, and you're just like, dude, all right, it's gonna be here in 5 days or 3 days, or, oh, dude, it's gonna already be here tomorrow. I wonder what I'm gonna get. It's all that anticipation, that mystery right there, that you're like, dude, I don't know. And it kind of takes me back, like, it's like when you buy like cards, like a pack of cards, and you're just like, all right, let me get a pack. You open it up, and sometimes you get a hit, you get something dope, and you're like, oh, dude, I gotta get another pack, and then you got like a grip of packs right there. You're just opening up. It's that excitement of collecting, of getting everything, And I feel like with the mystery box, it's similar, but it's like you're definitely getting your money's worth and more in there. And for all those like above 100 tiers, like, it's like free shipping on top of that too, and it's a win-win, I think, for like everybody right there. And I mean, I'm just excited to like see what people get, like in there. But yeah, that's currently, if you guys haven't checked it out, they're on the site, they're on there. But if you check my Instagram, you'll see reposts that I've done with videos and also photos of what people have gotten in their mystery boxes right there. So I'm saving a lot of the photos too. There's some that I have not posted, but later, I just don't want to bombard it all crazy overdoing it, right, on the page. So like little by little, I'll put stuff up. But later, I want to do like a compilation or just like put everything together like on a video or something, just so people can check that out as well, But it's like if you're living life on the edge, man, you want to try one of these out. I highly recommend them. The mystery boxes right there. But this is just the beginning. It's going to evolve later into something else. I already know it. It's been fun. And if anything, I'm just finding ways to make it better and to offer other things also. It's definitely inspiring and manifesting other things to get grouped together, other bundles and things like that. Bundles like for introductory modelers, as well. That's going to be coming soon. So people that want to get into it, a lot of us have friends that want to get into it. They're like, I don't know where to start. I know that if I get started, at least I have you to show me, kick me down with knowledge, explain to me what's going on, what should I do. So all that's going to be coming very soon, and that's going to be really fun to have those introductory boxes as well for entry level, and then also later more, I would say the experience level to the expert. It would be dope to like have everything right there as well. So I'll keep you guys up to date, and always just check back on the site right there, because you'll be seeing like different things. But later today, once I get all this product in, I get it checked out, make sure everything that shows up isn't damaged, making sure all the boxes look crisp and clean, and everything's accounted for, then it's all going to be not everything, but like I said, some of it's going to go to the pile of the mystery boxes, but the other is going to go up on the site, so people can like, if they want to get something individually and select it, they could go from there as well. And also, my email list has been growing now. Shout outs to you guys that have been signing up. If you sign up, you get a code for like a 10% off your entire like purchase. I know some people have taken advantage of using that code to get the mystery boxes. That's dope. There you go. Saving, like if you do the $100 one, you're saving $10. The $150, you're saving $15, and you're still getting free shipping. So that's there. But regarding the email list, every week I'm sending out coupons for discounts on different brands, on stuff, things that you won't see discounted. And I've said it before, like Tamiya kits, Tamiya tools, you won't really see that stuff discounted anywhere. It's always going to be a firm price on those items. And, sometimes I send out discount codes for 20% off. And on various brands, and not just tools, also detail parts, the kits, like different things, they're on there. So if you're looking into, growing that collection of items and you want to save some money, then I highly would recommend the signing up. So when you get that notification through the email, you'll be able to know that that's happening right there. So I want to move on to another segment. I just, wanted to start things off right there with about the store. And, I want to talk about prepping, because I think it's always good to go back to the basics, go back to, the beginning of, where we get started to create what we need to create. So that foundation, and, everybody has different methods. Everybody has different ways of doing it. And who's to say who's right, who's wrong, Everybody has their own ways, which is dope. And I feel like you should explore and listen to different people, see videos and pictures, gather as much as information as you can regarding prepping a model, getting it ready when you get it out of the box, and getting it ready, because you should definitely try out the different methods and see what works for you, see what gives you better results. Dang, did you guys hear that? It sounded like crazy, right? Right, they're not even going that fast. Nothing's so noisy. So yeah, I'm gonna tell you guys like my method, and this is just the way I prep my models, But before that, like the way I do my method now, I mean, back then, as a kid, when I would get a new model kit, there was no preparation whatsoever. It was just get the kit, pull it out of the box, look at the body, just lay it down like on a box or on a table, whatever was around me. If I went to the hobby store with my friends and we bought a model, then we'd be riding our bikes out of there with the model, like one arm holding onto the model and then the other arm on the handlebar, and we'd just be headed home, and sometimes we wouldn't even make it home. We would just stop, not even a park, just like wherever, like empty parking lot, like somewhere. We always stop somewhere, maybe on a bench by a McDonald's or something that was on the way home, because we weren't that far from the local hobby shop at the time. And then we'd like rip off the plastic, open up the box, and then we just pull out that model and like stare at it and be like, man, look at the body, look at this. And I could still visualize like the 62 Bel Air from AMT, the 58 Impala from AMT, and just putting it down with no chassis, no nothing, just the pure body, and just visualizing it like slammed, to the ground, a lowrider, right away, a lowrider, right? And then from there, all this contact with our hands, right? We could have been eating chips, we could have been drinking a soda. The soda could have been dripping down with soda and the water from the cold from it just sweating. And then we're over here touching our model, right? Going to my friend's house, going into the garage, just grabbing whatever paint was available, rattle can, shaking it up, and like, all right, I'm gonna paint it, and just straight painting into it, using a Krylon can, and just letting it like just sit there in the sun and bake. No primer, nothing, right? And after like some hours, not even like thinking about, oh, let me touch the box because overspray got on the box, let me check if this is dry, or even testing, let's say like spraying like a piece of plastic, right, to test. None of that. The first thing you do is like you get your finger and you just touch the body and you're already smudging the paint because it's not really dry. It's not completely dry yet. You're like, dang. And then you spray it more just to get rid of that. While you're waiting on that to dry, you're over here like trying to glue. You're twisting off the parts, pulling them off. You're using that generic tester's knife to cut off the piece from the tree, and then you start assembling using the tester's glue. It had a weird, like a lemon kind of smell on that bottle, and I don't know if it was weird. It was just different, But I know that if you smell that now, it takes you back, right? And just getting everything ready, and then once you had all the engine and everything ready in the bottom, just spray it a whole like probably even the same color or another color, and those were like basics right there. Gluing the windows are all fogged up and everything, and just cool. This is my model. Once you put it all together, no complaints, just happy that you got to experience a rattle can, because when you were under 18 years old, man, your parents would not let you, or nobody. It was like they don't want you using a rattle can. You know, there's all this graffiti out there. They thought you were going to start tagging and doing all this stuff. You know, that you're going to get the urge not to do it because it's right there. You know, but that was the closest thing of like being an adult in that moment, is just like that rattle can, you know, getting that spray. And then over time, you know, you start getting a little swing in your hand, you know, you start like, now you know, all right, when I'm going to press down on this tip, I'm going to snap my hand. You know, it's almost like when you play basketball, right? You start just shooting the ball random, and then after a while you start creating this little technique, and then now you're snapping like your wrist at the back. You're giving it that swing now, and then now you're adding like that swagger to it or whatever. But it's just funny, you know, how things go. But over time, you start to notice the results. Oh, look, when I do this, it lays out nicer, flatter, smoother, you know? And looking back at some of those models, man, I wish I would have kept a lot of those cars, dude. I wish. I know a lot of you probably wish, you know, but like anything, it's part of life. We got to move forward. Those are kept in our memories. We got to keep moving forward and just remember like what we did, what paved the way. And now let's do it now, but let's take it to another level now, right? So now when I get a model, plastic kit, I open it up and I'm just like examining the body, right? What I like to do a lot of the times is like the body by itself, just laying it like flat on the table, just to make sure that it's even and not teeter-tottering, or that the body's not warped, right? If it's a little warped, I'm not too worried. If it's very warped, like in the past, I remember having an ANT kit and it was super warped. And I already knew like, oh man, I might have problems with this. Even though when you install the chassis and everything, it kind of like, it goes back to normal. But I know that the chassis isn't going to be there for the most part. And my concern would be more like, what if the paint cracks or something when I'm like assembling it, right? I don't know if anybody's had that happen and they had it crack. Let me know. I'm very curious because I never moved forward when I would see that. I would just be like, all right, I think I'm gonna hold off or try to buy just the body online or something, you know, because these are like older kits, like an older like a shoebox, like a 49 Ford, you know. Those are the only ones I've had like that kind of teeter-totter effect, like an issue. But the newer kits or whatever, or even a Revell, like let's say I get one, everything's cool. All right, right away, I get the model and I get a 400 grit, God hand 400 grit sanding pad, and I just start to sand the body right there, you know. And yeah, I could wet sand it. You know, either way, it's nothing wrong, but I like to just do it dry because I like to see the plastic go from shiny to dull, right off the bat. I used to wash the car and do all this stuff, but I noticed that was taking up a lot of time, and it wasn't necessary because you're gonna sand down, you're gonna break through that plastic, like that film layer, so it doesn't even matter. So 400 grit, scuffing down the whole body, because it's a nice grit where you cut that surface, but you're not cutting down too much where you're digging in some deep scratches into your car. You know, it's a nice grit to start off, just to barely give it that dull effect and break through that plastic. You know, if you start to see mold lines, it's always great to get a marker, highlight those with the marker, so this way you see where your mold lines are. And you could even go a little lower on a grit, like the 240 grit from God Hand, and hit those little mold lines. You know, just hit them off. Let me see if I can do the noise. I don't know if you guys can hear that. I don't know. I'm like over here rubbing my car seat. Seatbelt, car seat, my seatbelt. So, hit those mold lines. Once you feel like, all right, it looks like I got them off, just keep scuffing down the whole body, 400 grit. Now, go in there, wet the body, get all that debris and dust out. And as you're wetting, you're wetting the body and all that, wash your hands. Make sure you wash your hands, before. Wash your hands, wash the car, and then you can get a microfiber towel and just dry the car after. Just get it nice and dry. And once it's completely dry, then get the Tamiya rattle can, the gray primer. It could either be the light gray or the light or the regular, the gray. Either one. Get it and just spray the whole body right there. Do all your passes. Even if you spray more than 3-4 coats, nothing's gonna happen. It's very user friendly. It's very forgiving. So don't be scared to overdo it. Just get it in there. Once you spray the body, let that sit out in the sun. Let the sun hit it. Let the sun do its elements with its heat, because it's gonna react. And the more it's out there, it's going to dry faster, and it's going to get a good grip on that body right there, because you already scuffed it down. And now all those areas that got scuffed down, all that tooth, it's just waiting now to bite, right? So it's biting onto the primer. It's hanging on. I have a little table on the side of my house where the sun is just beating down on that table all the time. And I always like it because I go out there, I spray the body, I have it on the stand, the Tamiya stand, and I just leave it there. And then an hour later, I come back and I rotate it, and I keep rotating it. So this way the sun hits it from all angles, and then it's completely dry. After 2-3 hours, I'm like, all right, dope. I could bring it in the house. I bring it in the house, it doesn't smell. I don't smell the primer, because it's already gassed out. From there, I do an examination of the body under my light. There's a natural light I have on my desk, and I just look. I see, all right, how's this looking? Do I see any mold lines? Do I see any dips? Do I see anything that needs to be corrected with glue? Do I need to fill in any areas? What's going on? If I see areas that I need to fill in with glue, small, whatever, a little hole or just something, right? Or even a scratch, whatever, I get my CA glue, the thick one, and now what I do is I get a toothpick, I dab some glue on a piece of tape, and then I get a toothpick and I grab some of that glue, but I don't apply it right away to the car. I wait till it's been sitting out for maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute, where it's starting to get kind of gummy, sort of, and it's not too liquidy, and then I apply it a small little amount to the area just so it fills it in, and then I let it dry. I let it air dry. I don't use the accelerator. I just let it air dry. Then I come back and I get another little very small amount, and I put it back in there, and now I get another toothpick, and I try running it along that area to flatten it out. I try to flatten it out as much as possible so it gets nice and dry, inspect it under the light, and then once I know it's ready and it's dry, then I go back and I get my 240 grit, and I just start sanding down just that small little area, that small little thing, just to flatten that out as much as possible. All right, it's filled in, boom. Now let me hit it with the 400 grit over the 240. All right, now let me just primer that little spot. Just primer that, let it sit again for a little bit, 30 minutes to an hour, good to go. Once I see the body, I'm like, all right, cool. Now we're going into the next phase. I still go back and I wash my hands, because you got to think, I was touching the bottle of the CA glue. I was touching this. You're touching so many things, and who knows, your palms could be sweating or not, whatever. But there's a lot of different oils and things that are in our hands. Make sure you wash your hands again. Now, we're going to step it up and get the 600 grit. And now with the 600 grit, we're going to go over the whole body and sand the whole body 600 grit. So now what we're doing is we're going to secure, this is going to be the test where we know that that primer is securely gripping onto the body. Because when we sand with the 600, we're not going to go heavy-handed. We're not going to go hard. We're just going to go light passes over the whole body. So this way, if you apply, let's say, too much primer on one area versus another, this starts to even it out. You start getting rid of that excess. If any lint, any debris got caught up in the crossfire, now you're getting rid of that, right? You're smoothing out the body more. But now you're also creating another level of tooth that's more fine, but ready for the paint that's going to come next. So now 600, if you notice, oh man, I just went over the roof and look, I burned right through it. Like now, and I'm going even passes on the whole body, but it's an indicator that you probably didn't put too much primer on that area. So if that happens, you got to go back, just wash the car, dry it out, and then spray primer all over on that area. Let it dry, come back, and then just sand it again, 600. Now that area is going to be good because the primer's not going to come off. It's going to be good to go. So now you're good to go. You're all set. Hold on, guys. Let me take a little sip of my coffee right here. I don't want this thing to go cold, and then I clear my throat too. All right, guys. So you have that all set. You come back with the 600. Now the body is like smooth, but you also don't want it too smooth either, right? You don't want to do like 1,000 grit, nothing like that. Nah, just keep it at the 600. And all this could happen fast, like in a day. You know, this isn't something that's going to take you weeks. No. This is quick. And it's quick because if you're using the proper sanding sponges and you're using that primer, it's quick. You know, you don't got to fire up your airbrush, none of that. It's just quick, ready to go. Once you have your car ready and set, and now you go, all right, the next thing is my paint. Just make sure you put that body away. If you want to put it in your box, like let's just say you clear out the box, or it's not cleared out, but you put your instructions over all your parts, then just lay the body over the instructions and then just cover up the box, right? So now you're getting ready and you're just like, all right, cool. Now it's time for my paint. From here, you have so many decisions of where you can go with paint. All right. All right. So once you make it to this point, you're like on the crossroads. So just make sure when you hit this point, you play Crossroads by Bone Thugs and Harmony. All right. Just put that song in the background. And so at this point, you could head in many directions, all right? From experience, you could either go Tamiya route, where you could spray Tamiya lacquer paint over this, Tamiya clear, and you're good. That's one option. Option number 2, you got splash paints. Another lacquer paint that you can use, and you can use airbrush. It's an airbrush application, right? Various colors, different brands, and they got their own clear coat. The 2K Gloss clear, sick, dope clear, right? They also got the matte finish as well, depending for what you're going for, right? That's another route you could head, and no problem. Boom, you're good. The third one, if you're going down the the custom paint route than House of Color, right? You got House of Color, you got various paints that you could use, mix, metallics, pearls, you can lay down flake, you can lay down so many things and still cover it all up, bury it completely with their show clear. I don't know if I think they use the word cosmic in there. I don't know, I just wanted to say that. But the show clear. And it's all urethane, automotive paint, the stuff you spray over metal, the stuff you spray over anything. You know, your 101 car that you're driving down that you see at the car shows, everything, dude. You can go that route too. From experience, those are the 3 that I've done, and haven't had any kind of issue whatsoever. And this is just from taking those steps of washing my hands, making sure there's no contamination, making sure I wasn't eating chips, and then before I touch the model, I rub those chips or whatever on my pants, and then I touch none of that. You can't have none of that. You have to completely wash your hands. Even if you're gonna grab your water bottle and drink water, go wash your hands. You're gonna go open up doors, go wash your hands. You know, you're gonna go kitchen, turn on the stove, make an egg, and all that. You know, gotta wash the hands. Every little step, you gotta always have clean hands when you're dealing with your models, right? And once you decide where you want to go, then you're good to go. Another one I forgot to mention in the past, and I know I did a video on it too. It's an old video. I think it's still up. But I remember there was a time where I tested it with painting with Createx too, and it had no issues. The Createx laid over that Tamiya primer. I don't know what it is about that primer, man, but it's magical. It's magical right there, you know? But I like to play it safe. 400 grit, scuffing down the bare plastic. 600 grit over primer. And let's say that now we got our paint added, right? We got our paint laid out. If I'm using splash paint or even Tamiya lacquer, if it's a lacquer paint, any one of those two, and I laid it on my body, and I noticed a little bit of debris or just something got on there, and I need to get it out before I clear it, I can do a light pass over the body. And it's gonna have to be with the high grit, because you gotta be careful. You know, you have to try not to really have to do that. You know, where you have to now sand your color, because you run a risk that you could burn right through that back into your primer, and even back deep, even to another layer of the body, the bare plastic. That you're like, dude, like that's it. We gotta start over. You know, you gotta be very, very, very careful. Sometimes even just by wetting it, and even like if you run your hand, like your finger, you might be able to even like get that lint out. You know, but if anything, if worst comes to worst, and you run into that issue, you can always get a little sanding pad, like a 2000 grit or even 1000. Just go really light. You don't got to go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. No. Just go back, forth, like really slow. But pay attention. Take a look at what you're doing, right? And get that out. This way, you want to have your body, you know, obviously ready for clear. But that would be my only thing. It's like being careful when you're doing like urethane paint when it lays matte, like a matte finish, and that's a paint that you really don't want to be sanding when it comes to that stuff. You're just gonna mess up your paint. You're gonna be scratching off the effects. Like if you lay down some pearl and then you just said, oh, I'm gonna wet sand the pearl, oh dude, you're gonna like, you're gonna dole that out. Like, you're gonna scratch off that pearl. You got to be very careful. You know, if you're doing it in your paint booth, make sure you clean the paint booth out all the time. Make sure that you also spray some water in the you know, have like a little water bottle and just mist the booth inside with the bottle. So this way, any particles, any kind of dust or whatever, it's grounded. It's grounded with the thing, and it's not gonna go anywhere, right? That's what you want to do, because you don't want to run into an issue where you have that like going down, and you're just like, oh man, what happened? You know, you don't want to have that going down. So you just got to make sure, like I said before, wash your hands, keep the area clean. Make sure even your airbrush too is clean, because there could be times where you got to be careful. Even like, let's say when you're going to spray candy, the airbrush you're going to use for your candy, you got to make sure you clean it and do some test sprays on a piece of paper. I've had issues in the past where I've pulled the trigger to spray, and sometimes it's actually spit like a few drops onto the body, and then I start to do the, you know, the layering of the candy. But sometimes those drops, when they touch your body, it's so dark that no matter how much candy you spray on your body, you're not gonna match that. It's like your car is just gonna have freckles right there, pretty much. Like, you know, you got to be careful about that. You want it to not be like spitting. You just want it to be coming out like a fan tip or the round tip, spraying out smooth. You know, so those are just like things to consider right there. You know, sometimes people are new to modeling, they're getting into it, and they don't know any of this information. You know, they don't know anything. They jump in to the deep end to the pool, and you know, sometimes they're just like, man, I should have started from, you know, the number 3 before I went into the deep end, you know, and you don't want to get discouraged. You know, you don't want to get scared and be like, nah, this isn't for me, you know, because scale model building unlocks a lot of things in our minds. It does. It definitely does, and it applies to a lot of stuff. There's a lot of different things that it's helped me out in my life where, you know, I've had challenges and just things, and it's really another outlet of figuring out, of working your muscle and your brain of how to figure out problems, how to figure out and come up with solutions to things, you know. Naturally, there's some people that are gifted that are just problem solvers. Naturally, they know, you know, how to solve every issue, everything. They always have an answer. They always have a plan A through Z, you know. They always have something to and they don't panic. They figure it out. You know, they have that confidence naturally, knowing like there's a way, you know. But there's also some of us that don't have that, but over time, you know, with model building, it's helped, you know, all the things we've done, it's helped to manifest that in our heads, that we're like, oh wait, there is a way, you know. If you apply a lot of the steps and everything to a lot of things, you'll notice it's very similar. You know, things you do at your job, things you do everywhere. You know, if you're stepping into something new, a new job, something new. If I go and I decide I want to work for this company, or if I want to work here and I apply, and I know probably nothing about it, right? and I'm intimidated, I'm worried, I'm scared, I'm like, dude, what, I hope I did the right decision. We'll see. And now they're telling me what to do and this and that. You know, the first thing I'm going to do is listen, right? It's like no different from reading your instructions on the model kit when you're getting a new model kit. And they start to explain, you got to do this first and then this and this. Now they're explaining the steps. So now you got to think, all right, like you have to take the steps too when you build a model as well. And you follow instruction, you do what you do, and you are going to hit some issues. You know, I know I'm going to run into some problems. I know there's going to be a hiccup, you know, oh man, I got this wrong or whatever. But I'm not going to be discouraged to give up or what. I'm going to be more like, all right, I need to figure this out. All right. Like, how would I do it? How did I do it here? You know, you start implementing the game plan, but you always fall back with the model building, you know? How to keep cool, composed, and like, you know, we'll figure this out. There has to be a way. There has to be a way. And you never know. You might actually even find a solution even for the company that you go, dude, like, because you might even create a method as well. You know, who knows? But it's just a lot of things, you know, that it helps. And I know a lot of you guys know what I'm talking about. I know a lot of you guys have this tool in your head that you learn from model building, this skill that's there. And the more you do it, things get better because now you're knowledgeable. You start understanding more and more about what's going on. And everything's a challenge. Everything is a challenge, man. Like, we all know that if everything was easy, we'd be bored. We'd be so bored if everything was easy. If every model we did, we're hitting it out of the park, like the best of the best, 10 out of 10, like just best models left and right. If we kept cranking those out, then we'd feel like, all right, I accomplished this. It's time to move on, you know? And we just be bored because we know the outcome. We go, well, you know, every time I do one, it always comes out amazing or whatever, great, you know? And no, it's that's not supposed to be the case, right? It's supposed to be challenging. It's supposed to be hard. It's supposed to test you. So this way you get a taste of success every time you work hard for it, like little by little, you know? That throughout the years, as you grow and you grow within the hobby and you take it to that next step, is when you realize, man, that's crazy. 10 years went by. Like, look at what level I'm at now with model building compared to 10 years ago. Look at what I'm doing now. And you cherish it. You appreciate it, you know? That you're proud of yourself. Like, no one has to tell you anything. You don't have to go and tell people, hey, look what... No, just your self-satisfaction is enough, right? That you're like, dude, I never thought I could ever do this. Ever, you know? And it's here. And that excitement, that feeling feels so good that you want to share it and you want to help others. Now you're an open book. Now your knowledge, your experience, you see someone struggling or you see someone asking the question, and now you're someone that could come through and help spread word and help that person take them to the next level. And I know a lot of you guys have. I know a lot of you guys listening to this have done that, have helped other people. And just know that I think one of the most rewarding things is those that you help will always remember you. They'll always remember what you did to help them to take it to that next level, you know? And it's a special thing because it was all words. It was all guidance, right? You're sharing your experience, your years of experience. You're sharing it. You're saving them time. You're saving them, heartache, money. You're saving them so many things to get them to that next step, and that's something that they're always gonna remember, and they're gonna pay it forward. And I feel like we all do. I feel like that's why everybody is so supportive in the hobby, because things have evolved. People are more about paying it forward. And yeah, there is that stage of competitiveness, which is dope. It's needed. It has to be there. It has to exist to push us to that next level. But at the same time, we're also showing each other love and showing each other, like rooting for each other, we're on your team, and it's cool, man, when you see the evolution of a model builder throughout the years, online and also at shows, and people just posting they're getting recognized, they're getting awards, they're getting features on magazines, they're getting, interviews, they're doing all these cool little things. It's dope. It just makes everything really fun, right there. But don't get discouraged. I know sometimes, once in a while you come across someone who's new or has been doing it for a while, but at the end they kind of run into an issue where oh man, this happened, and sometimes it could be the foundation, sometimes it could just be a simple thing where you might need to swap out a tool, or you're just missing a step, or maybe, hands weren't washed. Let's say there's some contamination. There's something, it could be various things right there. Sometimes we assume, this thing's broken. It's no good anymore, and we want to discard it. We want to get rid of it. We want to get a new one, and you run into one of those people that's a problem solver, and they'll be like, I found the problem. You just needed to swap out this part, and that's it. Look, it's up and running. It's back to normal, You got people who sell cars because, I can't figure it out. I took it to mechanics and they can't figure it out either. And next thing you know, they sell the car for very cheap. And then the person who buys it is a problem solver. And they're just like, all I had to change was the radiator or something very, very simple. Look, I could fire this thing up. And it's just like, wow. Now the value of this car, they could have made more money off it. It could be so many different things. But the foundation right there, try it out. If you guys want to try that out right there, what I just was telling you guys, if you want to do it quick, I used to take my time a lot with prepping, but sometimes that held me back from actually finishing a model. And now, time is limited, but also I kind of like that because, I'm spending a lot more time with my family. But with that limited time, I'm taking advantage of actually putting in the work, and I'm just pumped. I know, all right, within an hour, within 2 hours, I got to do this. I already know what I got to do, and then we go from there. If I run into a problem, I make the decision right there. I'm either going to run this over or I'm going to sit on it and I have to fix it. It's going to be one or the other, right? But even if I have to run it over, run through it, it's okay. I can live with it, It's not going to bother me, whatever, It's all good. You got to make that decision right there and then, And you know how it goes. Sometimes we run it over and we're showing this model at a show. We see our friends that we talk to online. Hey, what's up? Hey, check it out. Oh, dude, I wanted to see your car. Yeah, let me show it to you. And then right there, you just tell them, oh, dude, check it out. I was painting it, but man, I messed up right here. You see the scratch right here? Or you see this, That's cool to be open like that and tell people and you don't got to be shy or ashamed or oh no, it's all good, man. no one's gonna trip. Everyone's like, oh, like maybe a suggestion might kick in or whatever. There's a lot of various things that could come into play with that. With someone like explaining those things. So, just, I don't know, take some of those steps when you guys are prepping the models, if you want to try that out to get something up and going quick. And, as of lately, I have not been building. I'll tell you guys. I've been just, I feel like earlier this year I was just cranking them out, right? I got a rhythm. And then, I started getting busy with, my job, and then also the online store, and just with family, just chilling, like doing our thing. And, like I said, like this coming up month, I'm going to be vending at the Orange Con. Damn, that's like what? Like not this weekend, but the next weekend already, October 1st on a Sunday. And it's like, I got to get ready for that. But then the weekends after that, I'm going to like wedding stuff, like family stuff. So it's like the weeks fly by like quick. And I'm just like, dang, like I haven't had the time, and it's good. It's good. I need this. I need to step away for a bit from building, because I still look at the stuff on my desk. I see where I left off. I know what I need to do next. And it's good. I need this time. I need to have some away time. So then this one, when I come back, I'm just like, boom, all right. I know what I need to do to knock this out, to get it to the next stage. I need to start layering paint on this. I need to clear coat this. You know what I mean? Like, and I just love it, man. I love every single part of it. The prepping, the painting, and the final, the presentation right there of it, man. Like, I love it all. I geek out on all these like different things that I'm into with the cars, and it's just, then on the previous podcast I was talking about that I was like even just messing around with like some scratching and stuff like that. I've been doing that too. Like, I have this like little portable turntable that I have on my desk also, so I could always just hit the on switch and then it's on, just like practice. And I've been practicing this one scratch. It's called the boomerang scratch. It's like pretty challenging and messes with your head, like, because you do like 3 movements, 3 different clicks in a forward motion, and then you got to repeat them in a reverse motion. And the reverse motion is the part that messes with your head, because you're trying to do it, but your brain's telling you do it this way, but then you're like, no, it's got to be this way. But now, after the 3rd day, it's like muscle memory, like it's kicking in, and now it's doing it the way I'm hearing it when I'm watching these instructional videos and stuff like that. So I don't know, I'm excited. I'm excited now, like comprehension and understanding and all this stuff. I know I need to thank model building for that, because like 20 years ago this stuff was already being done, and I wasn't like comprehending like that. Like, as much as that, someone would explain to me, oh, this is how you do it, I'm like, huh? Like, I still couldn't get it. And now I fully understand it. Like, when these guys are talking on video, I'm like, oh shoot, I understand what you're saying. Like, this is crazy. It's blowing my mind right now. All right. Like, I'm excited to do this, and but what's up with you guys though? That's what I want to know. On Instagram, if you're listening to this podcast right now, and what you're currently working on, please tag me, so that way I could reshare your stuff or repost. I want to see what's going on in your world, what you're working on, what you're doing. I definitely want to check that out. I'm very, very curious to see on there. And next week I'll be there at the Orange Con. If you guys are wanting to come out, I'll be there in person, vending. First time doing it. No, I don't want to say I'm nervous. I mean, it's like any event, you know. I'm just curious because it's the first time. I've never been to Orange Con. I've never been to this venue. It's not going to be too far from my house, so I should be there early, set up, and just, you know, get things going, and just be ready. You know, from seeing the flyer, I believe the vending area is going to be open from like 9 a.m. to like 2:30 p.m. from what it says, because it says doors open and close or whatever. So we'll be there during those times. So this week, I mean, I'm going to be busy just selecting things that I'm going to be bringing to the show now for Orange Con. I do plan on bringing in like some mystery boxes too. So I'm going to have, most likely I'm going to have like three different mystery boxes with me there at the location. So if you guys have been thinking about getting a mystery box and you're going to the show and you want to pick one up there, I'm going to have them available. I'm not going to bring a lot. I'll probably bring like one of each tier, you know. That's most likely what I'm going to be doing. And I'll have those on display right there and available. So like if anybody is, you know, wanting to get one, I'm definitely going to have that there, you know. But it sounds fun, man. Like, I want to meet new people that are going to be there. You know, at this last show, I met new people I've never seen before, the one in Oxnard. I did see familiar faces as well, but at the same time, I saw some people that I've never met. So that was cool to just chop it up and connect through online, make those connections. So, you know, Orange Con, it's coming up. You know, I've seen from previous, you know, photos and videos, people that I've entered in the past and stuff like that have gotten awards. And it's just, you know, if the vendors thing ends at 2:30, it's gonna be dope because I'll be able to pack up, or just, you know, if they close their room and I could just, you know, close my stuff right there. I'm hoping I have access to go into the model room, so this way I could take photos and video of stuff. So this way I can do, you know, because I do want to get some content to post online and whatnot. But next year, 2024, I'm planning on doing NNL West. That's definitely in the books. I'm gonna be submitting my information to book my table, NNL West 2024, in January. If you go to their website, they already have the flyers up. I haven't promoted it yet because I want to make it official. I want to make sure I lock down my table first before I make that announcement that I'm going to be there. So you guys are hearing it now for the first time as a heads up. But that's one of the things right there. The NNL West, that's going to be coming up. So 2024, do plan on going, and I'm excited, man. You know, next year, I'm gonna see what I could do differently from this year. Hopefully, I get to travel more and hit up shows that are outside of California. I really want to do that, you know. But we'll see, man. I mean, as much as I want to go everywhere, it's like, you know, my daughter's growing up. She's 3 years old right now, and I'm just enjoying spending as much time with her, seeing her grow up, you know, playing with her on the weekends and stuff like that too, when she's out of daycare during the week. And it's just cool, man. Like, you know, Halloween's coming up. We're going to be doing the whole pumpkin carving thing for the first time with her, because now, you know, she's a little older now that she can actually like be doing these things. You know, when she was, you know, 2 years old or 1 year, they can't really do that. All they do is just look, right? But now it's cool. It's going to be more interactive and stuff like that. So I'm looking forward to that. But even then, like next year, if I'm able to like travel, I want to do this like a family thing too. So this way I don't feel bad. Like, oh man, I'm out here, but I miss my family back home. You know, I don't know. I'm just super attached to my family, and that's the thing. Like, I don't know. We'll see. But I do want to set some goals though for next year. I want to do some things differently. Even like I've been even thinking about some of the local shows too. It's like I know that I could vend and everything, but I'm even thinking about like, man, I don't even know if I'd even want to vend at a local show, because you guys can order this stuff online and I could ship and you go get it within the next day or so, right? And I don't know, man. It's just because I always think back at the last show I did, the SoCal Open. I feel bad because I was vending, but I couldn't leave my post, right? And I know there was a few friends that were there that came from out of town. So I didn't really get to hang out with them. I really didn't get to... they came over where I was at. They chopped it up and they hung out with me there. And that's cool. But I feel bad that it could have been more. We could have been mobbing around the tables, checking everything out. We could have gone outside and like, yo, let's go check out the other cars outside. Oh, let's go get something to eat, It could have been more of that, right? And that's where I feel bad, where I go, fuck, like yeah, the vending stuff's cool, but when it comes to my local shows, like, because I'm supporting the show too, right? By vending, I'm buying a table to support and everything, but now I'm just like, for my local shows, I'm thinking, damn, maybe I'll just support differently by I've always done the awards. I've always supported that way. But maybe I want to do it more differently where I'll still continue to do the award. I want to participate with my models, pay the entry for like the tables, to put my model on the table. But the vending, it's more like, man, I kind of just want to hang out with my friends, I want to just, and I know people have told me like, oh, why don't you just have like someone working the table and stuff like that. Like, that could be possible, but I don't know, man. Like, I don't even know if I even want to do that, If I was traveling far, like to another area, that's another thing I got to think of. Like, if I'm going to vend or am I just going to come and hang out, and put my models and kick it with everybody, I do want to kick it with everybody, like, for sure. But I don't know. We'll see. I do want to do some things differently coming up for next year because, the shows will be coming up for next year. This year alone, here in Southern California, we have the this one that's coming up next week, OrangeCon, and then NHRA Museum that's coming up in November. That I know of. Those are the last shows I know of. I could be missing another show in there that I don't know of though. But if you guys do, let me know, and that way I could spread word on that. And but I'm just speaking for the ones that are here in Southern California, and then next year, the Northern California one will be the NNO West. But yeah, I want to book my table soon because I want to start announcing to people about that, and that way, we're already. We're getting to the end of September, so hopefully, if people make plans, maybe they'll come back out to NNL West in January, and I'll get to see you there. So, all right, guys. Well, I'm already here. I made it to the spot. Man, I thought I was going to be out here a lot longer. Not so bad. But yeah, I'm just pulling up right now. But thank you for coming along with me on the ride. And keep on building. Hope you guys are safe. Keep it chill. And we'll see you guys for the next one, all right? Peace out. Thanks. Bye.